His smile was very sweet, touching, and he himself was a very sweet and handsome young man. One day, he says good morning to me. I also say good morning to him in return. At first, we talk for only a moment, but gradually our conversation becomes longer. My name is Nimra. I am 28 years old. I am a married woman. My husband and I live in a small house. We have been married for a few years. I am a housewife. I spend all day doing household chores, sweeping and mopping the house, cooking and then waiting for my husband to come back from work. We don't have any children, but I want to have children. My husband's name is Arik. My husband was not from our community. At first I felt something different. He speaks less and is mostly busy traveling. When he comes home, he looks tired, as if his body is ahead of his mind. Sometimes I try to talk to him. How was your trip when I ask? He says, fine. And then he looks at his phone. The conversation ends. When my husband leaves, the house feels very quiet. I don't know anyone in this city, no friends, etc. There is only one person here whom I talk to, the milkman. He comes every morning early. He keeps the milk jug by the door. Sometimes I open the door before he leaves, so when he sees me, he always smiles. His smile was very sweet, touching, and he himself was a very sweet and handsome young man. One day, he says good morning to me. I also say good morning to him in return. At first, we talk for only a moment, but gradually our conversation becomes longer. The milkman asks how I feel. He was waiting for my answer. It feels strange and comfortable. The next morning, we both sit on the steps. The cool breeze was blowing. The weather was beautiful. There was no one in the street. I tell him that I feel very lonely here. I tell him that I feel hidden in my own house. You shouldn't feel this way, he said softly. He talks to me for a long time. I like his talking. I want him to talk to me for a while longer. One day I invited him inside for tea. We sit at the kitchen table. We talk for hours. Nothing inappropriate happens, but there is a closeness, a feeling I can't name. It went on like this between us for a long time. My husband doesn't even realize it because he didn't care about me. One afternoon, my husband comes home from a trip. He drops his bag at the door. My clothes are dirty, he says. Wash them. I shake my head and pick up his clothes and take them to the laundry room. And I look at one of my husband's shirts and my eyes stay there. The red mark on the collar. I pull the shirt closer. My heart starts beating faster. This is lipstick. It's not mine. I was standing there holding the shirt. My husband was in the other room. I heard his voice. He was laughing. That night I kept waking up next to him. He turns his back on me and falls asleep. A few days later, my husband goes on a business trip. He doesn't tell me where he is going. The days pass slowly. One evening my phone rings. It was an unfamiliar number. The voice on the other end is calm. There has been an accident on the highway and your husband and a woman are with him. They both died in the accident. After my husband's death, my body changed. I felt weak. I felt sick. I stopped eating and drinking. He was my friend, the milkman. He got very worried when he saw my condition. He brought me soup. He brought me fruit. He sat with me silently, she said. You should see a doctor. One morning, I was standing in the kitchen cooking when I suddenly felt dizzy and fainted. I went to the doctor alone. After the examination, the doctor sat down in front of me. He spoke softly. You are pregnant. At first, the words didn't make sense. I asked him to repeat them. He said it again. I walked home silently. The streets seemed strange. My legs felt heavy. When I got home, I sat on the couch and stared at the wall. My breathing stopped. There was no one for me in this city. Now I was completely alone after my husband died. I started crying because I had wanted this child for years. I started crying because my husband had cheated on me. I still remembered my husband and started crying because he was gone. Maybe he knew. Maybe in his broken way, he wanted to leave me this one thing. The doorbell rang. I looked outside and there was my same friend, the milkman, standing outside. He took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. He went inside without saying a word. I told him everything about the doctor, about the baby. I am pregnant, I said, crying. It was quiet. Then he smiled softly. I want to stay here, he said, for you, for the baby. I slowly started to back away. I said, how could this be? He looked confused, but he kept listening. I said I loved my husband. After everything that had happened, how could I give him to someone else? I don't want my child to feel like someone has taken the place of his father. He shook his head. I will stay as a friend, he said. I agreed because I was alone anyway. No one else was mine. From that day on, he stayed with me. When I was tired, he would push me, he would help me a lot. In every way, he supported me a lot. He walked with me through every difficulty. When I needed to talk, he listened to me. He never crossed the line. One morning, I was standing by the window with my hand on my stomach. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was with someone. I was sure that I was no longer alone. This milkman had become my husband, and we were living very happily. Then something came to mind. Trust can be damaged. Love can fail. But even in loss, life can start again.